Members of Parliament in your party, the Labour Party, have lined up this week to blame your party leader, Jeremy Corbyn, for contributing to Brexit. They've passed a no-confidence motion in him, leadership challenges in the air. They say he didn't campaign hard enough for Remain. Do you think Jeremy Corbyn did enough to prevent Brexit?
Well, I've made quite clear that I'm not going to get involved in what's going on in Parliament, in the leadership challenge to Jeremy Corbyn. But what I would say is this. I wasn't simply campaigning in London. I spent some time campaigning in Manchester, in Leeds, in Oldham and Bradford. And I was meeting people who vote Labour, always vote Labour, probably always will vote Labour. And they were unclear what the Labour position was when it came to the European Union. And they were looking for guidance. And I was troubled and disappointed that a week or so before the referendum, there were too many Labour voters I was speaking to in Manchester, in Leeds, in Oldham, in Bradford, who weren't clear. So we need to have an analysis of what went wrong. How is it possible?
And what's your analysis? You were one of the leaders of the Remain campaign. Jeremy Corbyn was part of that campaign. You went around the country on an emergency last-minute tour, drumming up support. Why didn't he?
Well, I'm really pleased and proud that London voted decisively to remain in the European Union. 60% voted to remain in the European Union. I'm really proud of my city. Jeremy Corbyn would say if he was here, that he was going around the country having town hall meetings. There was a Labour bus going around the country as well. And, you know, it's for Jeremy to explain his campaign, what he did. I'm quite clear that it's important now we, deal with the hand we've been given and make sure that us leaving the EU doesn't lead to jobs, trade or investment leaving my city and our country.
If you were still in Parliament as MP for Tooting, how would you have voted in Tuesday's no-confidence vote, in which 172 Labour MPs voted against Jeremy Corbyn, while just 40 voted in favour?
Well, that's a nice try, Mehdi, and I expect nothing less from you. But look, I'm not getting involved in Jeremy Corbyn and his future prospects as the leader. I'm the Mayor of London.
You're also a member of the Labour Party.
Yeah, and I'm quite
and he's your leader.
And I'm a proud member of the Labour Party. My job as the Mayor is to make sure I speak and reassure businesses and investors that London is the go-to place. We will carry on being a leading global commercial centre, and I'll make sure I do my bit as the Mayor doing just that.
Do you regret nominating Jeremy Corbyn to be Labour leader? You never voted for him. Do you regret nominating him now, looking back?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Look, we lost last year a general election for the second time in a row. In 2010, only 29% of the British public voted for us. In 2015, only 30%. The idea of depriving the Labour movement, members, supporters and the trade unions of a full slate of candidates, I think was wrong. MPs are seen as the Westminster elite, and I think it would have been seen as the elite stitching up the contest. And I think it was right for the Labour movement to have a choice. And to be fair to Jeremy Corbyn, last year he had the best campaign out of the four candidates. Last year, fairly and squarely, he won the contest. So I don't regret that at all.
Can Jeremy Corbyn win the next general election and be Prime Minister of the UK?
One of the things I suspect that's motivating those who are, voting a motion of no confidence and won a leadership contest is there could well be a general election this year. The new Conservative leader, the new Prime Minister may well want a fresh mandate. And I suspect their motivation is, a week is a long time in politics, so Jeremy deserves more time. But because there could be a general election this year, I suspect their motivation is whether the operation, the leader, is match fit for a general election.
Is he match fit for a general election, Sadiq Khan?
Well, all I can do is talk about my experiences during the referendum campaign. And I was concerned that in Manchester, in Leeds, in Oldham, in Bradford, Labour supporters weren't aware of what our position was. I know from my experience entering into a contest in London that to win a big election, a general election, whether it's the Mayor of London or whether it's to be the next government, you don't just speak to Labour supporters from the last election. You need to speak to Conservative supporters from the last election, Liberal Democrat supporters, Green supporters, and UKIP supporters, those who stayed at home to persuade them to vote for your party.
Is Jeremy Corbyn speaking to those supporters?
Well, I've said publicly, this is not the first time I'm saying this, Labour needs a Big Ten. We should be speaking to everyone. I had during my campaign what I called a 33 borough strategy to speak to everyone in London. all over London, and that's what you've got to do when it comes to being the Prime Minister of our country as well.
So it sounds like you think he's not match fit. Ed Miliband, your former leader, a good friend, ally of yours, has said this week that Corbyn's position is untenable and that the right thing to do is for him to stand down. Gordon Brown, your former boss, former Labour Prime Minister, has said the same. Do you disagree with them?
Look, I've said loudly and clearly, and I'll say it again now, I'm not going to get involved in the leadership contest. What's important is I do the job as the Mayor of London. I've been doing that over the last 8 weeks, doing that particularly hard since last Thursday, and will carry on doing so.
You can be Mayor of London and also be a senior Labour politician who many members are looking to for guidance. Many people voted for you, supported you. They want to know where you stand. The Labour Party is tearing itself apart. You're the most senior Labour politician in the country after the leader. What is your view? Should he stand down? Yes or no?
No, sure, and I'll repeat what I said. I'm not going to get involved in that discussion, in that debate, in those conversations in Parliament and elsewhere. I'm quite clear what I've got to do, which is to be a full-time Mayor of London.
And will the Labour Party split apart? People are talking about a split on the 1980s lines. Again, as a Labour member, surely that must bother you if the parliamentary party's in one place, the membership is in another.
Well, all I'd say to those advocating that is history tells us when Labour splits, when we're divided, we lose elections. The SDP split in 1981 led to us losing the election in 1983, 1987, 1992. We can't afford to be out of government for 18 years. By the time of the next election, if it's in 2020, it'll already be 10 years. Every day we're out of power, we're letting down people who need decent housing, who need to be skilled up to get the decent jobs, who are waiting to see a doctor or a specialist. It's really important, as soon as we can, win an election, to start looking after all of our country.